Hey, good morning, YouTube. So, let's give another update on my life right now as a female truck driver working for GP Transco. So basically where we left off on my last video was about me introducing y'all to my new truck and my first week with GP. Well, here we are at a week 2 update of GP. I'm currently on my 34-hour reset, and basically I just wanted to come and let y'all know how week 2 went. So I ended off my first week with GP with a little over 1,900 miles for my first week. Wasn't, that exciting, a lot of short runs. Um, you know, it was really quick. It was a really quick week. Um, I will say I had to fix 3 different trailers within that first week. So a lot of time spent getting the trailers worked on. I will say that. I did have to do, like a 10-hour one night at a shipper because it took them just that long to live load me. So something else that needs to be mentioned about GP2 is they do a lot of spot market freight, probably like 46%, and then the rest would be contracted freight. I would like to say that a lot of my loads have been live load and unload. I would like to say that because they mentioned dropping hook, but I did one dropping hook out of that whole week. Everything else was live load and unload. A lot of my loads were heavy. I will say that. So, definitely make sure that you scale all these loads over here because they do load them kind of funny, and I try to tell them like, hey, how do you plan on stacking my trailer? Just because I was used to like being able to tell, like, because I'm from Florida. So if I go to a port to get some fruits or something, when I was doing refrigerated, they would ask me how would I like my trailer stacked. So I could say side stack, or I like to do 2 in the back, 1 in the middle, 2, 1 in the middle. I could tell them, but here they don't. A lot of their customers don't really like, for you to really ask that. I mean, a ballpark of how much you're gonna get loaded, but again, they don't really like. A lot of the customers didn't really kind of like me asking that. I guess I don't know. They're like, "Oh, we load y'all this way all the time." So then, they load however, and then it end up being if it's overweight, then you have to go back, or you like I noticed like one time where I had to go back, you do have to end up waiting all over again, for someone to reorganize the trailer. That could be aggravating, especially when you already went the extra mile trying to be proactive and getting loaded correctly the very first time. It can get frustrating out here, especially when you have experience coming from other companies in different situations. And you try to avoid the rigmarole, and that's what I call it. You try to avoid that as much as possible by asking questions the first time, and people still do what they're gonna do. Yes, male-dominated industry, but anyway, um, it's just over here it's really hit or miss when you get to these customers because if it is like a little, if it is some freight that has like a real tight time frame, you will be running your clock out every day, just to get close. And I noticed that when I did plan out my day and I thought everything was going good, I did get a call from my dispatcher basically saying, "Oh, we can't take 76 because of all the tolls." I'm like, that wasn't really mentioned to us in orientation, but that is something that you should know. If you're coming over here to GP, they do not want you taking Interstate 76 because of all of the tolls and they try to minimize, the cost for the company. And I understand that. They try to minimize costs anywhere possible. And speaking of minimizing costs, they do have a fuel bonus program. Um, you know, so that you can be more cautious of your fuel and what you're using over here at GP. Basically, they would like for you, if you have a Freightliner, a Volvo, or a International, you stay in your category of truck. So you're basically in a competition of a sort with anybody else driving the same model truck as you to see who's getting the better fuel mileage. And then they award the top 5 drivers in that category with a fuel bonus, you know, for that set time frame. So if that's something that you're really good at, GP will reward you for, being able to do that. Um, and another thing too I want to mention is, like, they show you on your settlements where you fueled it and how much you fueled. I guess just to, give you a ballpark of what you're spending on fuel for the week, for those loads. So it does show you that a lot of times when you're like doing spot market freight, you will have the brokers calling you, keeping in constant contact with you to see what time you got there, what time you got unloaded, um, you know, so they can update their records and update the load on their side. So by us only having, I want to show a tablet. GP gives everyone a tablet to basically use Samsara on, and says Samsara is their ELD, but that information is not shared with the broker. They are calling you directly to get all of that information, just so that you guys have that, because they didn't really we didn't really go in depth with that when we were in orientation. So yeah, your phone is a very, very important part of the process of being a driver with GP, because that's how you're contacted. I know I met one owner operator while I was there at the terminal, and he was really nice, and he let me know that he chose GP because of maintenance. They have a great maintenance package, and he just basically needed help with getting loads and things of that nature. So he said that was one of the reasons why he chose GP. I just wanted to throw that out there because they do have a lot of owner operators in their fleet. The lease purchase program is not in effect right now. They're no longer offering that because of the cost of trucks and the fuel costs right now. And the truck note altogether would basically put you in a hole right now, as trying to be a lease purchase operator. So that just won't work right now for the company. They don't see it being beneficial. So that's not something that they're into right now. My dispatcher currently is out because he's not feeling well. So they did give me somebody as a sit-in. That person is doing a phenomenal job. Dispatcher that I have right now, um, you know, still no issues as far as how I'm being managed, how my loads are being managed. But I did like that this second week, now that I did have somebody new, I did notice I got way more miles. This week I ended with 2,800, so significantly more than my first week. I am happy about that. You know, I am considering talking to them about some other things before I want to mention it on my channel, just so that I can get more clarification before I, put it out there for everyone, because I do want to give an honest and thorough review. I want to be very, like, informative to anybody coming over here. And I know, being a black female in this industry, solo driver, I am not, exempt from a lot of things, but I do feel like women, we do tend to want things done a certain way. as far as being handled, as far as being communicated with. Females, we expect things to operate a little bit more smoothly. Like everywhere you go is not going to be a well-oiled machine. Sometimes it's just going to be organized chaos. That just is what it is. Trucking in itself is something that you have to adapt with every day. Um, if you're not on a dedicated account, which some drivers are, um, and they're used to going to the same place to pick up and load every day, they're making a rapport with those people, with the warehouse workers, with the operators, or with the yard jockeys. They making a rapport. When you're out here OTR, you really can't do that. Half of the places that you're gonna go to, until you've been with a company, say like um 6 months to a year, and even then you're not gonna go, especially if you're dealing with a company that has spot market freight. It's sometimes where it's gonna be your first time ever going to that place. Half of these warehouses are being operated by the person who actually owns the warehouse, so you won't really be able to like build that like, oh yeah, I know you type relationship. So everywhere you go, make sure that you are dressed professionally. You are, you know, being professional attitude, not getting so irritated easily. And being a truck driver, that might be a hard statement to make, but just make sure you treating people the way you want to be treated. I mean, it's common sense. Some of these guys show up with attitudes, like, and I'm watching it like go down to the point where they pulling out guns. Like, it's just that, like, it gets just that retarded. And excuse me, it just gets very like immature very quickly. And you have to protect yourself as a woman being over the road, because anything could go down at any moment. These warehouses are located in the butt cracks of these towns. Like, it's literally like nowhere where nobody would even like really live for real. It's old school towns, nothing upgraded or nothing's been touched in the last 200 years type thing. Like, that's where a lot of these places are located. So be ready for anything. And my statement is, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Always be ready to protect yourself in a situation. If you are able to walk away and get out of it, get out of it. Don't argue with these people. I mean, they have a job to do just like we have a job to do. Nobody's job is insignificant than the other, because teamwork makes the dream work. If they don't do their part, you don't get your part. Nobody, ain't nothing moving, ain't nobody earning nothing. So the smoother you can make the process to get your paperwork, get that bill of lading, and get out of there, that's what you need to do. And I know I'm dressed like somebody mama, because I am somebody mama right now, but I just actually got up on my first 34 and got myself together. And I don't plan on really going nowhere but one place today. I'm gonna Uber there today, and then I'm coming back to my truck. So yeah, if it's coming out, if it's given, mama don't play, mama don't play. So that's just what it is. Treat people the way you want to be treated out here. I don't care if you're a truck driver, I don't care if you a McDonald's worker. It's in any aspect, wherever you work. I don't care if you wash the dishes. You still should treat people the way you want to be treated, because you just don't know what walks of life that person came from, for one. And then for two, like I said, everybody got their job to do, and that's all everybody need to do. Do their job, go home. We all out here to get the cheddar. That's all we out here for. So make your life easier by just following protocol and doing your job thoroughly the best way you can. Are there going to be mistakes made on paperwork? Yes, yes, there are. That's why they check it and you check it. Y'all both are human. Anybody can make a simple error. One digit on the seal number can hold you up once you get to your receiver by a whole 2 hours. Make sure you're checking your seal numbers. Make sure you're checking the way your load was loaded. Make sure you're putting in scraps. You're putting in load locks. Doing what you need to do to secure that load. You don't need no money taken off your check, or you don't need to be held up once you get to the receiver. You want to be able to drop that load and get out of there. Truthfully. Sometimes, and going back to securing the load, sometimes not securing the load can really cost your company, fines, and then on the back end they can fine you. GP has never done that to me. But I did hear a story where a driver, dropped a loaded trailer somewhere they weren't supposed to, and it did cause a company a fine. And on the back end, they did take it out of their check. That did happen at GP from a different driver. Um, but like I said, another thing is like besides securing the load, like the fine thing, like if it's a fine that you could have avoided, yes, you are gonna have repercussions for that. But if it's something as far as like parking, like for me, I was in Maryland delivering a load, and that that shipper didn't have overnight parking. You could not park on that road. And the guy told me that I called ahead. That's a part of your trip plan. And I called ahead and said, "Hey, I'm gonna get there in well enough time, but y'all are gonna be closed." On that back road, I looked on y'all the satellite of the map of where y'all located. There's a cul-de-sac. Can I park my truck in the cul-de-sac and do my 10-hour overnight there? He told me, no, there are signs up that says no parking. Please do not come here. Please do not park there overnight. Try to get here, early, whoop, whoop, and do what you can. So that's what I did. I found parking elsewhere on during my trip plan, and I looked, satellite version of the parking area that was there. It said it was a dirt lot. It wasn't a dirt lot when I got there. It was a whole building at that point. So I was like, okay, I can't park there. So up the road there was a TA, but the TA had paid parking. So I called my company and I said, hey, where I'm gonna shut down at, since it's only a couple hours from the shipper, it's a TA, but that TA is so tiny, there's not gonna be free parks by the time I get there. If I park there, will y'all pay for the parking if I do reserve? They told me yes, because of where it was located and what the shipper that I was going to, by them not having overnight parking, that was approved. That was okay. I said all of that to say, if you do your pre-plan ahead of time, you can save yourself so much money. GP is very understanding from what I'm seeing so far, and they do try to right things if it is wrong in your opinion, and they see what you're saying. You break it down to them as far as what you're trying to do. They don't always pay for parking. Yes, in trucking, being OTR, before I've had to pay for reserved parking because I just chose to do that. But when that's the only choice, when you don't have anywhere else to park and they would rather that truck not be on an on-ramp or off-ramp or somewhere where you just know you really not supposed to shut down it, but you do it anyway. If a company really care about their equipment, they would rather you call them and ask, hey, are you going to reimburse me for this paid parking? Rather than me being on ramp, off ramp, or somewhere where I really shouldn't be parked at and chancing it. They're gonna tell you. Most companies, if they care about their equipment, are gonna tell you, go ahead, shut down. We got you. You know what I'm saying? Do you, boo boo? Dap you up, keep going. Like they want you to be safe, and they want their equipment to be safe as well. So, you know, I submitted my receipt. It was $25 to be there, because it was around Baltimore area, and that TA is just, I've been there with a different company before, and that TA is just a madhouse. Like when I got there, y'all, I said, okay, just for giggles, I was like, let me just ride around and see if I see free parking. Y'all wasn't no free parking. People was parked every way they could get in there, like Tetris. I'm trying to tell you, like that TA is like a really, really tight, just madhouse for trucks, because that's the only truck stop within like a 50-mile radius. So yeah, it was always a madhouse there. But the time frame when I got there, the reserve wasn't full. Like people don't, a lot of times the reserve is not gonna be full anyway. But that day they weren't full because they do fill up fast. And another thing I like to mention is, don't always trust online. Trying to reserve a park online with a TA, don't always trust that. Pilot loves that a little bit better, but TA, if you reserve online, it's chances are you're going to get reimbursed, because the people who are already there in the parks that go inside and pay, they got one up on you because they're already there. And a lot of times people ain't moving. Even if they told them inside that the reservations were full, a lot of times they don't move. And after a certain time frame, they're not going to go out there and check everybody to make sure. You're just going to be, for lack of a better term, assed out. So drivers, women, if you out there, pre-plan. Do not take that route oh, I got this, oh, I know the area, I don't think it should be full. Because word to the wise is anytime between like 6 to 8 anywhere, if you're not shutting down yet and still plan on rolling, look up areas where look anywhere between 30 minutes before the time frame where you thought you was going to shut down, or even an hour back, because sometimes where you want to shut down, if there's traffic or anything else causing you a slowdown or causing you to be late to where you actually planned on stopping, make sure you have other points of reference where you can still stop at and shut down. Sorry, y'all. It's like 51 degrees. It's cold. But anyway, I always have those different points to where you are willing to shut down at other than the other places. Because sometimes they are going to be full, or they're going to be it's just not going to be a good situation to shut down. You always want to have plan A, B, and C, and leave cushion on your clock. If you do plan on driving your clock out that day, then it is what it is situation where you just okay with shutting down at wherever you can shut down at. Then that's different if you're just trying to push it to get there. So that being said, I always pre-plan. I always check your loads to make sure they're secure. And if you know you've never been there, don't ever assume. I always try to call the shippers and receivers to see if what you're looking at the map is them. That's where you're going to be at. And ask questions. Don't feel bad for calling them and asking questions. A lot of the questions that you're going to call and ask, sometimes they can't already be answered. If you type in the address on Google and you go to reviews of where the warehouse is, other drivers like to post issues that they've had with that shipper or receiver, where the door for the office might be located if it's, a big warehouse that has multiple companies inside that one warehouse. They might say, oh, the shipping and receiving office is at door 47, or it's around back at door 222. You just never know. But Google will kind of update you and let you know what other drivers have said already about that warehouse and how things are. It'll basically help your pick up or drop off be way smoother, because they'd have already asked all the questions and they've gotten all the insight and all the information you need to know when you get there. So use that as a resource as well. Another thing is at GP we have a group where we can go in there and talk about our experiences. And if you can do a quick search before you type in, a post, you can probably search that shipper or that receiver and see what other drivers may have said about that location. Just because it's the same company, like if it's the same shipper, that same shipper might have multiple locations, but they still operate the same way they would if they were in Ohio or Indiana. Like it's the same. Like they may have the same rules, so it's still good to go in there and check so that you can knock out a lot of the what ifs and maybe and oh my god, I don't know. It'll knock all that out for you, as far as what you might need to know on your pre-plan. Other than that, I think I covered everything. Just be safe out here, women. Bring what you need to bring with you for protection. Being solo, so that if anything pop off, you will be, secure and you'll be safe wherever you go. But that's all I wanted to come on here and say today. I'm about to go enjoy my 34. Probably watch a couple movies. Do some reading. I got to check up on I'm also a licensed nail tech. So I wanted to go and update my license because the 31st is coming. And my state license has to be updated. So I'm probably going to do some of that work today. And, talk to my family and check on them and stuff. But other than that, y'all stay safe. I'm enjoying my 34. And then I'll see y'all when I go back on duty. Peace.